Since April of this year, we've had a points battle in the making like no other here in the Miscraft Cup Series season number 7. We are now here at the Martinsville Speedway to find out who the final 4 drivers going into the championship race will be. And we're at this one right here. This is the final regular season event on the season for 2021 here at the Miscraft Cup Series. And a lot of guys are hungry to make it into the final 4 to go for a championship. And some of them have a shot at possibly getting a second championship. We'll see if that'll be the case here today at the Martinsville Speedway. Who will join Lahar Jr., Denny Hamlin, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney, Jimmy Johnson, and Willie Byron as Miscraft Cup Series champions? Well, we're going to have to find out who those 4 drivers are going to be. Those are some elusive names up on that podium right there looking over this field. And it'll be very interesting to see who makes the final 4. Now let's go ahead and take a look at all the drivers around the bubble here going to find their way into the championship 4. Now, one driver who doesn't have to worry about that cutoff is Chase Elliott right here. He is locked in to the championship race with his win in Richmond and a very good finish at Talladega just a few weeks ago. And they have Ryan Blaney, who's looking really good right now, sitting second in points, 27 points above that cut line. He will start 12th today. He'll just need to have a really good run to be able to avoid elimination. And of course, his teammate Brad Keselowski is also currently in, but he's only 5 points above the cut line, and he's starting 10th today. He's going to need a little bit more than just a solid day to be able to make sure that he is in the final 4 and running for that first championship. Then another guy he's going to have to worry about is the 4th driver currently in, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., up by 1 point. He starts 17th today. He's going to need to make up a lot of positions if he wants to try to keep that 4th position in points and make it to the final 4 and try to get himself a sneaky championship trophy. But what about Bubba Wallace? He's also gone under the radar a lot this year. Very consistent, but he is 1 point below the cut line. He is in 5th, starting 15th here today. And going to be a fun battle to see him at one of his best racetracks. Bubba Wallace starts 15th. They have Christopher Bell. He's 3 points below the cut line. Once again, a very quiet season for Christopher Bell. He starts 19th here today. He's going to need to make his way up to the front of the field if he wants to have a chance at it. But 3 points below the cut line, you're going to have to make up a couple spots on a lot of other contenders. Just like these guys right here, some really strong racers. Kyle Larson, good pretty much everywhere. He's 8 points below the cut line. He starts 5th here today. And then the guy starting right behind him is Denny Hamlin in the number 11 machine. He is looking very good as well. He's also 8 points below the cut line, and he's really good at Martinsville. So we'll see if he can get his way into the final 4 and go for a second Miscraft Cup Series championship. And of course, track position is key. So if he wants to make it into the final 4 to have that shot, he'll have to stay up front here today. And Kurt Busch, who starts on pole, is 51 points from that final 4. No chance of making it in. So he's just looking for a win here today. And here is the starting lineup here at the Martinsville Speedway. Of course, Kurt Busch will start alongside his brother, Kyle Busch. Then you have William Byron and Chase Briscoe. Then you have Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin. You have Martin Truex Jr. and the only driver locked into the final 4, Chase Elliott. Rounding out your top 10 will be Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski. Then you have Alex Bowman and Ryan Blaney. You have Joey Logano and Matt DiBenedetto, Bubba Wallace, and Tyler Reddick. And behind them, you're going to have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Chris Buescher, then Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain. You're going to have Eric Almirola and Eric Jones. Then you have Austin Dillon and Daniel Suarez. And rounding out your field here today will be Cole Custer, Corey LaJoie, and Ryan Rocketman Newman. And if you head on down to CircleBDiecast.com and use the code NMCS Racing at checkout, you can get free shipping on orders over $20 on anything from hats, diecast, and t-shirts, and more from many places such as Greenlight Diecast and Lionel Racing here at CircleBDiecast.com at checkout. Once again, that's NMCS Racing at checkout. And here's the race info for today. It's a half-mile paperclip. We're only going to have 12 laps on to negotiate who is going to be able to make their way into the final 4. 27 drivers are in the running for the last regular season event here in the Miscraft Cup Series season number 7 for 2021. The cars are rolling off. We're getting ready to go. And it's going to be a very quick race. Already going to be able to tell that from the start here. 12 laps of the paperclips, not going to last very long at all. And who will be able to join Chase Elliott in the final 4 to run for a championship in Kansas in the next race? We're about to find out as the cars roar through turns 3 and 4. Get ready to come to life here off turn number 4. It's the Busch brothers leading us down to the green flag here at Martinsville. And down at turn number 1, Kurt Busch gets a whale of a jump. He's got Byron following through him. Here's that 18 of Kyle Busch falling back hard on the outside lane. But here's Kurt Busch leading back to turn 3. Byron in tow, top 3, top 4 single filers. Briscoe gets shoved up 3 wide to the outside of the 2 Jogas Racing machines. And Kurt Busch leads lap 1. He's still got single file racing back behind him. Truex to the inside. Oh, the 14 slides up once again. And here's Truex on the inside of Kyle Larson. That is for the 4th position. Top two are Chevrolets, and the next two are Toyotas now as they cross the line. And here they come back to turn one. Kurt Busch leads once again. Byron all over his back bumper, though, as they come off of turn number 2. Here's Byron to the inside. Oh, we got contact and trouble on the front straightaway, and it's Eric Jones going around off the front bumper of what looked like it might have been Ross Chastain. And the caution is out for the first time here today at the Martinsville Speedway. Let's see what happened. Coming off turn number 4, you see the 43 and the 42 get together. The 43 of Eric Jones looked like he might have cut down in front of the number 42 there, coming off the corner, trying to get as flat of an exit as he could. And right across the nose of the 42 machine right there, and tough luck for the 43. Looks like there was no contact, though, so he will be on pit lane getting a fresh set of Goodyear tires, and we'll get back out of the racetrack to go racing once again. Still, everyone in this race, we come down to the choose rule for the first time. Kurt Busch goes to the inside. He's followed by his brother Kyle, and everyone just trying to find out which way they can go and have the best of restarts here, of course, and the choose rule has been a factor all year long, and here it is once again on the restart. Green flag's back in the air for Kurt Busch, leads back to turn 1. Oh, lock with the tires. Here comes Byron to the inside. Byron looks to the inside for the lead. Kyle Busch now to the inside of his brother for second, but he's not going to make that work. And back to turn 3, William Byron leads in the number 24 car. Top 3, top 4 single file once again as we enter the second lap of this little stint here. Kurt Busch all over the back end of the number 24 machine. Looks to the inside off turn number 2. He'll get a really good run off turn number 2. He'll clear to turn number 3 as Byron's right back on the back bumper of the 1 car. And here are teammates Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson making a little bit of contact in turns 3 and 4. Elliott will get the spot as they cross ways behind them for Stuart Haas Racing. Here's Truex onto the inside of William Byron for second. Oh, we got a car around at turn number 1. It's Bubba Wallace hard into the outside retaining wall. The number 23 machine pancakes the left side of that racing machine. And tough luck for Bubba Wallace. Had a pretty good run going. You see right here off the front bumper of his best buddy, Ryan Blaney. And hard up into the outside wall of turn number 1. Looks like Blaney trying to get down below the 23 car, and they cut in kind of at the same time, and contact was made. I'm sure there was no malicious intent there between those two, but Wallace hard on the outside wall with help from his best bud, Ryan Blaney. And you see all the damage on that race car being helped on by some tape and stuff, so definitely going to be an interesting one to see where he finishes today. And look at Kurt Busch choose the top side as the leader for this restart. Going to be very interesting to see how that works out. And we'll have 3 laps to go on this restart, restarting lap number 10 out of 12. Kurt Busch, like I said, on the outside lane. This could be the final chance for a lot of drivers to make it to the final 4. Green flag's back in the air. Kurt Busch gets the jump on the outside. He'll make it work, but they're sliding in turn 1. Byron's up the track. So is Hamlin. Here comes the 5 of Kyle Larson, powering to the inside. And he'll look for third. Here comes Kurt Busch, locking up the tires in turn number 3. Truex to the inside. Larson gets the run off turn 4. So does Kurt Busch. They're to the outside of Truex. 2 laps to go here in Martinsville. Bumper to the 1 car. Here comes Larson to the inside. He's looking for the point off turn number 2. He'll slide, though. He'll have to get right back in line behind the number 1 car. Coming around the white flag. Larson looks high. He'll cross back over to the inside. White flag is flying here at Martinsville. Larson with the point. Here they come back to turn 1 for the final time. 2 Chevys looking for the win. Here's Kurt Busch back to the inside. Just what Larson did to him half a lap ago. Down the backstretch for the final time to turn number 3. Here's Larson outside. Kurt Busch in, and he slides in front of the field. Big crash off turn number 4. Who gets to the line first? That's going to be Kyle Larson winning this race as calamity happens in turn number 4 here at Martinsville. Here's Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski, who came into this race in the final 4 in points. Will he be living? Most likely not. And tough luck to see him there. Leaving the final 4 just like this. A big heartbreak for Keselowski. Here's how it happened. The two leaders got involved in a little bit of a tangle in turns 3 and 4. Kurt Busch got spun on the inside, washed up the racetrack right there, and spun the back end down. Contact from Byron slowed him up, and Hamlin and Keselowski slid hard into the inside wall. And now it's going to be Kyle Larson celebrating on the front straight with a burnout here. First win since season number 4. West Wave could not have come at a better time. Kyle Larson makes a statement here at Martinsville, trying to make it into the final 4 here in the Miscraft Cup Series. And, of course, here are the race results from today's event. It'll be Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and William Byron in 4th. And Chase Elliott, the only driver that was locked in and safe to the final 4, finishes 5th. And you see a lot of the guys, big names, like Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, some of the guys looking for points to make it into that final 4. Definitely did not have that good of a day. And speaking of those points, let's take a look at it. Here are the top 4 going for a championship. It'll be Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., and there was a 3-way tie for 4th between Truex, Byron, and Stenhouse. But since they were tied and Martin Truex Jr. had the best finish in this race out of the 3 of them, Martin Truex Jr. gets the nod, and he will be the 4th contestant for the final 4 for the championship trophy here in the Miscraft Cup Series 2021. You see a lot of guys back here like Denny Hamlin, who was only 8 points. He was only 8 points out coming into this race, now 17th in the point standings. So it just goes to show you how close the battle has been all season long here in the Miscraft Cup Series. But the next race for this series, well, it's going to be the Kansas Speedway, the final race, the championship race for the Miscraft Cup Series 2021. We have the Kansas Speedway multi-groove racing, very fast race cars. It'll be a very interesting race to see here for the Miscraft Cup Series. Haven't been there since season number 4, same as the win for Kyle Larson. So once again, congratulations to Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and Martin Truex Jr. for all making the Final Four, and for Kyle Larson on his win here today. And of course, Chase Elliott, he won at Richmond. Ryan Blaney won the last race out at Talladega. And Martin Truex Jr., well, he won the Miscraft Racing Complex Oval. And Kyle Larson, of course, winning here today at Martinsville. They've all made their way to the Final Four this season, been some of the most consistent drivers, some of the most contestant drivers. And, well, here they are now, going for a championship and just one race time. So it'll be very interesting to see which one of these drivers will become champion. Place your predictions below in the comments section, and we'll see who gets it right. Thank you all for watching here from the Martinsville Speedway, and, well, we'll see you for the championship race at Kansas.